friends, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Welcome to today's Mystery Monday project. So today I thought we would give this stamp set a try. It's called Circle Celebration, and I actually received this set as part of an event that I took part in a week or two ago. And this stamp set is from our January to June mini. It's on page 38. And I have to tell you guys, when I first went through this catalog, even though this takes up a whole page, I kind of didn't really focus on this stamp set very much. But it's really quite neat when you start to play with it. And we used to have a circle stamp set a number of years ago called, I believe it was Circle Circus or something like that. And this reminds me a little bit of that. And it's got some great little images. So we are going to play with this today. And it's at a really, I just wanted to say, a really good price point. There are 11 stamps in here, and it sells for only $23. So that's actually pretty good price point for all these images that you get in here. So the card we're going to make is this one. It's actually a very simple layout, which doesn't use a lot of supplies, mainly a few different inks. And so I'm going to show you how we did this. I've heard this referred to as a collage technique. So this actual card was inspired by Lena Gurza, who is a Canadian demonstrator actually from Ontario. And I just love her color combination here and how everything just sort of pops. So I'll show you how we are going to make this card. So first of all, we are going to start with a base of Night of Navy, 8.5 by 5.5, and we're just going to fold that in half and set that aside for a minute. And then I took a piece of Purple Posy. Now I have used this color quite a bit in the last couple weeks. It is one of our retiring in colors, and it may or may not be sold out, but I thought it was a great match for this particular card. And with this technique, you could just use a white piece and then just sort of color in the inks, you know, to give it whatever color you wanted. But I found with the Purple Posy, we've already got a bit of a base purple color going on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to sponge up this left side of the card. And for that, we are going to use two of our purples. So we're going to use Gorgeous Grape, and we're going to use Highland Heather. So to do this sponging, we of course are going to use our fantastic new blending brushes. So even though the sponging is on the left side, because I'm right-handed, Lena had a great tip. I'm just going to do it on this side, and then we will flip it. So it's going to be exactly the same. Okay, so let me just double check. That's my Gorgeous Grape, my Highland Heather. So I'm just going to ink up my blending brush here. And I'm going to start off and then just gently do some circular motions here. And you can add as little or as much of the ink as you want. And we're just sort of going to contain it to this half of the layer here. And you can always go in and add more. I don't want it to be overpowering, so I'm just going to start with that. And then I'm going to take some Gorgeous Grape, and I'm just going to go over that and make it a teeny bit darker. And just sort of give it a gentle circular motion. And these are great for covering larger spaces, these brushes. These are just so amazing, but also so popular. They've been on non-orderable status for a while. So hopefully they will come back to us soon, because I know a lot of people are very interested in using them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is stamp some of these circular images that are in the stamp set, or we're going to use some different colors to stamp them. So again, I'm gonna start with my Highland Heather. I'm gonna put this on my piercing mat, my foam mat, just because these are photopolymer stamp sets. So I'm gonna start with the Highland Heather. And we're just going to randomly, wherever you like, on this half of the layer here, we're just gonna stamp some images, and you can stamp off on some of them. You can give them full strength if you want, whatever you would like to do. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so let's start with that. And then we're gonna move to the Gorgeous Grape and use a different image. This is sort of a bubbled kind of image here. So you can stamp off the page, you can stamp on top of some of the other images, wherever you would like your circles to go. Oh, that one I didn't press quite hard enough. Okay. All right, so that's our Gorgeous Grape for now. And then we're gonna move on to Magenta Madness. Now I haven't used this ink a lot. It's one of our new ink colors that will be with us for another year. It was released last year. So I'm gonna add some pops of this pink in here as well, which I think is just so cool. How this all just sort of pops here, these colors. Okay, so we'll start with that. And then lastly, I'm going to tie in a bit of the Night of Navy, because our Night of Navy is our base. So I'm just going to use one of the smaller stamps and just stamp randomly to add a little bit of that Night of Navy. And you're sort of just making your own type of collage. Like, it's just so random, which is, you know, such a fun part of the stamp set. So that, I think, is pretty good. So we are going to add one more image. And it is this white circle, which has a bit of a wreath in there and florals on the outside, just to give it that extra pop. And this one we are actually going to do with white embossing powder. So what I want to do first is I'm going to take this off my mat. I'm just going to sort of take my heat tool to this first, because these inks are a little bit wet, and I do want to use my old embossing buddy just to keep some of the static down from the embossing powder. So I want to make sure this ink is fairly dry. You could let it sit for a couple minutes, but I'm just going to gently give a little bit of the heat tool to it. So excuse the noise for a second. Okay, it does dry fairly quickly by itself, but just for the sake of the video, I thought I'd just speed it up a little bit. Okay, so I have my old embossing buddy, and I'm just gonna give that a little swipe on top, just to kind of get down some of that static. And then we're gonna use this image with our Versamark pad. Okay, so maybe I should put this back on here for just a second while we do the stamps. So I'm gonna just ink this. Oops, there's something in here from before. I'm just going to ink this upside down with my Versamark. And I think I'll place one there. I think I'll do about 3, because it is a larger circle. And then I'll do one here. And even if they overlap a little, that's fine. It's meant to be a collage, so things kind of run together. And I'm gonna put one down here on the bottom. Okay, so then I'm gonna take our white embossing powder, and I'm gonna give this all a sprinkle, just to cover that Versamark, and give it a good flick so it comes off of any other areas that it might have adhered to, or any of the other inks. So really give it a good flick That should be pretty good. And then again, we're going to take our heat tool and set this white embossing powder. Oops. Should be pretty good. You can always hold it up to the light a little to see if you've missed any spots. But I think that looks pretty good. And doesn't that just pop and look just so amazing? I love this look. And you could experiment with so many different colors of cardstock and papers. There's no limit to what you can do with these circles. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of some white baker's twine that I still had. So I'm going to just wrap this randomly because I want to tie a little bow. I'm going to put it around about 3 times, like so. And you can adjust where you would like this to be. I'm going to put it a little bit more to the left. Whoops. Always a challenge cutting and tying ribbons or bows. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to push it down, and I'm actually going to tie a knot first. And then we will tie a bow, or attempt to tie a bow. So let's see. Okay, so there's our knot. And our bow. Not too bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna clip off these tails here a little bit. And then you can just adjust this twine wherever you'd like it. I'm gonna just sort of spread it out a bit here. Maybe like so. Okay, and then we can add it to our base. So I'm just gonna put some Stamp and Seal on the back. And I mean, you could do different orientation if you wanted. You could, you know, have the circles that way or this way if you wanted a vertical card. Just adjust your twine, of course. So there's lots of different orientations and things you can do. Okay, so add that layer, and then all we need is a greeting. So I went ahead and I stamped a thank you. This is from the Sweet Ice Cream bundle that's in the mini as well. I use this thank you because I really like the font of that. And we're gonna pop this up with some dimensionals. So it pops up a little bit. And again, you can place this wherever. You might want to put it on top of your twine, at the bottom. I'm not really sure. This one I did at the bottom. Wondering how it would be here. This might not. Let's try the center this time. It'll be about on that twine, but that's okay. You can have it hang over a little bit or tuck it underneath. And there you go. Our circle celebration cards. Aren't those fantastic? I just really like how those turned out. So if you would be interested in ordering any of these products, please visit my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net and have fun playing with this technique and with colors and see what sort of circle celebration cards you can come up with. And let me know what you think of this technique. So I hope you'll have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.